Every single choice that you make contributes to who you are going to be one day. Make it count. Every single decision that you make, every single choice that you make, take a second to pause and think, what would future me do in this situation? Let the energy come from you instead of you chasing something. Because there was this quote that I saw the other day that absolutely changed my life. The version of you that has everything you desire, she doesn't or he doesn't want it anymore. Like literally, we're all so caught up in chasing something to fill this void in ourselves. And it's not even about chasing it. It's just about us getting caught and becoming addicted to the pattern of chasing, that becomes our default neural pathways that we rely on. It's the path most walked in our brains, right? It's like a hiking trail that is frequently taken. And we get so used to it, we get addicted to the chase, and we get addicted to how it makes us feel with the hormones and everything. And okay, I don't really know where I'm going with that actually, but there is another way. There is another way to live. There is a life of ease. There is a life to live where the more you rest, the more you receive. It is so possible. Any type of path you want to live, there is a version of you already living it. I love to think of it as like there are multiple different timelines of you that exist in this moment, because think about it. Every single choice that you've made up until this point, every single decision, you could have, in a different reality, in a different timeline, made a different choice and ended up being somewhere totally different. So I always feel like what I truly believe is like when you have a desire to be a certain way, when you can think of a version of you that exists, that has everything that you desire, that is a different version of you that you would love to be, that version already exists somewhere. And how I kind of theorize and how it makes sense to me is because it may not exist in an actual timeline, because I'm not sure if that has been proven in like quantum physics or anything yet, but it exists because the 4D makes it real. The 4D is the consciousness that we all have, right? And we are all one. Separation is an illusion, right? So when we can think of something, and when, like, all of us have consciousness, right? Or at least most of us have consciousness, I would hope. And we formulate these thoughts. And I really, truly believe, I don't know if you've ever listened to the telepathy tapes, or if you have had dreams that you share a dream with someone and you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And okay, because I've actually had a shared dream with my partner before. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like years ago, and we both woke up and I was like, whoa, I just had the craziest dream. And my partner was like, whoa, I just had the craziest dream too. That's insane. That's literally what I dreamt. And my mom has had a shared dream with people. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But point being is, I really believe that all of us are truly connected to this giant consciousness, cloud of consciousness, whatever it is, whatever. I know it's not super tangible for us yet, but I mean, even people in the past, I think it was Thomas Edison, right? Was that the guy who created the light bulbs? I remember reading an article on how he would like take a nap and his ideas would come to him. And it's such a mind-blowing thing to think that we're all just like vessels in this world, right? And it's not the version of you who gets everything they desire. It's not the version of you who maybe goes viral, or the version of you who gets money. You're the version of you, you're the vessel that gets those downloads to express them in this reality. And I feel like there is a reason that those ideas and downloads come to us. And when we can think up a version of us that exists, when we can have a dream reality, when we can create and think about who we want to be, and we have that image, it's almost like creating an alter ego, right? If not creating an alter ego, when we can do that, there is a version of you that actually exists, that is living that reality. And that is how we jump timelines, essentially. And I feel like what we're really doing there is creating a new timeline for ourselves. Like, we are taking control of our fate by making decisions that align with that timeline that we have constructed in our minds. We're calling upon that energy that exists because it exists in here. And we are giving it form in our 3D reality. And when we can embody that energy, when we can embody that frequency, when we can think those thoughts of that version of us that is living in that timeline. And that timeline version of us calls to us for a reason. There's a reason that we are here. There is a reason that we desire such unique and individual things. It's for a reason. Your soul brought you here to experience that, essentially. Our souls all brought us here to have unique soul expressions and unique patterns and unique experiences that we were meant to experience. And when you call upon that energy of that timeline, when you have the thoughts of the version of you that is in that timeline, you are bringing that into your 3D reality. It starts materializing. And again, when you are reflecting that when you have that energy in you, there is no choice but for the 3D to reflect that back to you, because it's like exactly like the law of attraction, right? Like attracts like. I have actually talked about this in previous videos. The energy that comes from you will be reflected around you, because instead of chasing your manifestations, like when you chase your manifestations, you're embodying an energy of lack. And that is actually training your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind sees that lack, because I think actually the definition of to want something is to lack, right? So when you are wanting, when you are chasing, when you see or picture something that you want, your brain is actually comprehending it as, oh, we don't have. Let's find more reasons why we don't have. This is why I love to always say desire instead of want, because your subconscious mind notices these things and pays attention to these nuances and feeds that to your reticular activating system, which is the filter in your brain that literally shapes what you see. So if you are telling yourself, oh, I want this, I want that, you are still in the chase. You are still signifying that you have a lack of. You are not in that timeline where there is a version of you that just is, and they are manifesting from them, and because they are being that energy first, and that energy is reflecting back into them and the world around them, where things come to them effortlessly. And yes, this does play hand in hand with law of assumption, right? Because this is also changing your assumptions about who you are, because you are seeing yourself as someone differently. And when you see yourself as someone differently, you are still putting that coding into your reticular activating system to see things differently, to filter things differently. And you're not only changing that, but you're changing the tone of your voice. And every little decision that you make and every little change that you make is putting you on a completely different trajectory of your life. Like so much more different than it would have been if you would have just stayed the same and done the same thing day in and day out. You would be on an entirely different trajectory. So I feel like it is so important in every moment that you get, every chance that you get, to keep coming back to the version of you, that dream version of you, that alter ego version of you that is living in that timeline, even if it's just in your 4D, which is the realm of your thoughts, emotions, basically where you're thinking, right? It's like the book, The Compound Effect. It's like every single choice that you make adds up to be the version of you who you're going to be. So there is no better day to start than today to completely change your life, if you have not already. And if you already are on the journey to becoming your dream self and creating your dream reality and creating your dream life. I loved to think about this a lot when I was just starting on my journey of creating my new identity and following my dreams and creating my dream life. I loved to think of it as if there were multiple different timelines out there. And again, I don't know if it's proven by quantum physics, but sometimes it's fun to think about, right? Like, if there are so many other different yous out there in thousands and hundreds of different timelines from different choices that you made over the years. And it's fun to think of it as if all those timelines exist in the cloud consciousness, and they're like fighting to experience life through you, because you are the one experiencing life in the 3D. You are the one that gets to be here in the physical plane, and those timelines are fighting to be experienced. And so it almost kind of puts you in a position of power, which kind of makes you feel special in a way, because it's like, okay, I can really choose whoever I want to be, and who I'm choosing right now doesn't have to continue. Like, I don't have to continue being this identity. I can completely change my life anytime I want. And whoever I think of in my head, there is most likely a timeline version of me that exists somewhere that I can pull that energy into my reality now, completely change the person I'm living, completely change the story I'm telling myself, and have different results be produced around me. And it just kind of gives you that sense of like, okay, yeah, I am the creator. And it's fun to think of life in that way, because we don't really know, like us as humans, we don't know the full scope of what actually exists in this world. I love the virtual reality theory. It's so fun to think of, because how Joe Dispenza talks about that, it's just crazy to think that we're 0.001% actual matter. We're mostly, like, nothing is really solid, truly solid, right? And yes, we may be dealing with a more dense matter than what we're dealing with in here with our thoughts, but it's just so crazy to think about that, like, really you can change your life today by making one decision that you are going to be someone different. And that it's fun to think of it as if, like, you are the author in your story and you are the one who has narrative control. You are the one who all of a sudden can be like, okay, and this is where the story changes. This is where everything is going to change overnight. This is where all of a sudden things are going to start changing in this way and in this way. And as if you were to fill in the blanks there for your specific dream life. And things can just start changing. It's like when you make that decision and when you remind yourself of that and, like, can believe it, it can happen. Like, there's nothing that is impossible. It reminds me of what I used to remind myself of when I first started on this journey as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of Byron Katie. She wrote the book, I think it's called Loving What Is. And there are a few questions that she asks whenever she's, like, feeling a certain type of way or anger. And I actually use this to retrain my identity. It's the first question I always ask when I'm having, like, a doubtful thought come in. I'll be like, 1, do you know it's true? And sometimes it'll be yes, sometimes it'll be no. And the second question is, do you 100% know it's true? And that's, like, always no, because you don't know what is 100% true when it's a doubt that you have in your mind, because fear is false evidence appearing real, right? Number 3 is, how is this thought making you feel? Like, how is believing this thought making you feel? And let's say in this scenario, like, I am worried that I'm not gonna get my dream house, right? And how do I know we'll start from the beginning here. Number 1, do I know that that's real? No, I don't. Or is this true? I don't know if it's true. And number 2, do you 100% know it's true? No, I don't know. And then question 3 is, how do you feel when you believe that thought, that you feel like you're not going to get your dream house? It feels like tight, tense, scary, because I have no idea what life will be like if I stay where I'm at. And then 4 is like, how do you feel when you don't believe the thought? Like, how do you feel? Who would you be without the thought? And usually it's like, you feel like a weight's lifted off your shoulders. You feel like the energy has, like, dissipated, right? Like, it's just, you feel like you're back on track and you resonate and you align again with your new identity, because, like, your new identity is most likely not consumed with negative thoughts, and anything that kind of helps you feel lighter and more positive usually is more aligned. And it's just, yeah. Anyway, so this whole talk about timelines and Byron Katie and the work and the compound effect, I feel like kind of we went down a rabbit hole here, but that's okay, because that's what this channel is for. That's literally why I created this, because it's like a video diary to also mark my own progress as well and share my own journey, because I'm going to look back at these videos one day and be like, if only she knew, because I know there is so much more that I have to learn and to grasp and to retrain in my new identity to shape the new path that I'm taking in my new brain, or in my new neural pathway path in my brain. And yeah, so anyway, start today. Just start today. Start calling upon that new timeline energy and really call in and embody that energy, that frequency. Think as if that version of you is you now. Spend the next 10 minutes getting in their head, thinking, what would they be thinking right now? What would they be daydreaming about? How would they be thinking in their favor? How would everything work out for them? And also remember that you can change the story at any time. You have the pen in your hand. You are also the author and the main character, and you have full narrative control. Is this going to be the day that everything changes for you? Is this going to be the day that you are going to decide that you are sick of maybe if you've been a victim in your life for a long time, maybe this is going to be the day that you're going to stop being the victim and you're going to take your power back? Because at the end of the day, no one is going to change your life for you, if that makes sense, because no one else is your creator in this 3D reality where all of us are humans and we're all on equal playing fields and we are all one. Oh, remember, separation is an illusion. And when you remember that you are that creator, you kind of take that power back and you remember like you have free will and like you can decide if this is going to be the turning point, and you can decide. And like, obviously, yes, people can help change your life. All it takes, I'm a firm believer that all it takes is like one person to change your life, in the sense that one person could help you start a business. You could come across a person that's your soul partner. You could come across a person that gives you a check because you won the lottery or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, every single decision that you make, I'm a firm believer, every single decision that you make in keeping your higher self in your mind, in the back of your mind, like acting as if you are your future you, making decisions from that standpoint, I feel like keeps your consciousness a little bit more clear and allows any downloads. It allows you to see what's right in front of you, and you never know what day is going to be the day that everything changes for you, and you never know when, or like, this could be the day that changes everything. You just have to decide to be open to that possibility. Anything can happen, anything can change, and the sky is not the limit. It is way beyond that. So just keep making decisions from your future you. Keep embodying that timeline identity, because what you're literally doing is bringing that energy from that timeline to you anyway, because you've created it in here, which means it exists. So you got this.